Okay, you can't see my screen. Okay, everyone. Hi, it's Tralisha Strambler, and I'm here today to talk to you guys about a new video creation tool called Go Beyond with Bloxels. Okay, so my name is Tralisha Strambler. I am at Centerville Elementary, and I teach 4th grade. Our moderator today is going to be Katrina Wright. She teaches 2nd grade at Toller Elementary. So a little bit about me. I have been in education for 11 years. I've been at the same school for 11 years as well. In my classroom, I have an iPad cart of 20, which I do share amongst the other 4th grade teachers, and I also have one MacBook. The ITSE standard covered today will be ITSE Standard 4, the Innovator Designer. Students will use a variety of technologies within a design process to identify and solve problems by creating new, useful, or imaginative solutions. So many people don't even know what Bloxels are. So Bloxels is basically a kit that you can buy, and it's a video game creation tool. It's fun for all ages, but it is optimal for ages 8 through 12. I have seen younger students, such as my son. He started playing with it when he was about 7 in 2nd grade. He loved playing with it. And I've also seen some high school students like using it as well, middle school too. So Bloxels basically uses small blocks of various colors to design pixelated characters, backgrounds, and settings. It's kind of looks like Mario a little bit, kind of Mario and Minecraft smashed together. It is the beginning stages of programming, and it truly fosters creativity. So basically, if you can think it, then you can build it within the game. So let's get started. My suggestion, day 1, is present all of the pieces to your students, explain the purpose of the kit to the children, introduce the pieces, color coding, all of that kind of stuff. So I have a picture of my Bloxels kit. This is kind of what it looks like. It comes in a box, and everything you see here comes in the box. It is separated in 9 different boxes, although you have 8 colors. This middle box is just kind of fancy in the middle. What I've done with my kit is I also have little tags on the inside. You can't see it from here. I actually took it from the wrong angle, but it has a tag on the inside, so it explains what each block color represents within the game. So I put on here that blue is water, pink is for power-ups, red is a hazard block, such as lava. Orange are exploding blocks. So if you wanted to make it so that if they shoot at the block, it'll explode and not come back. Yellow can be for coins. White blocks are story or text mode blocks. Green blocks represent terrain, and your purple blocks are enemy blocks. And these color codes are when you are actually building the game. It doesn't have anything to do with if you are making a character. So your game is going to come with all of your pieces, and it's also going to come with this black game board. It's a 13 by 13. So in order to play with your Bloxels, you will need to download the Bloxels app. It is available on Android and iOS devices. Once you've downloaded the app, depending on whether you have purchased just a single Bloxels kit or if you have the Educator kit, you can create an Educator account if you have the Educator kit, because it does come with a specific subscriber code, and it'll come with all of your information with that. If not, all you need to do is just follow the steps for board activation. It's pretty self-explanatory within the app. I do have to make note that you do not actually need to purchase the Bloxel kit in order to work within the app. If you do buy the Bloxels kit, you will have more features available to you, but you can play within the app without actually having to have the game board. However, your features will be limited. In order to unlock more gems and features, you must replicate the design and use the camera within the app to take a picture of the design on the game board. So you may see something like this come up on your screen, and it's asking you, do you want to activate your Bloxels board? And you do. And once you press yes, it's going to show you a design, and it's a very simple design. And basically, you are practicing learning how to take a screen scan so that you are learning at the same time how to capture the image of your board within the app. All you do is click on that little camera button. It'll have the camera within the app. It will ask you for permission to use your camera, and you just say yes. Once you've done that, it'll tell you that, yeah, you've earned X amount of gems, and we'll talk about what you can use the gems for a little later on. So once you've done that, you can come across the start screen, and this is within the app. You'll see things for the infinity wall, game builder, features, settings, home, news, and poultry panic. Starting off, your infinity wall is pretty much where all students or any person that's using Bloxels app, they can upload any backgrounds, settings, characters that they've created, or even a full game that they've built. They can upload it to the infinity wall, and you use your gems that you have unlocked or have earned to buy those things. You can buy extra characters. You can buy a completed game if someone has it up there for X amount of gems. Poultry Panic is just something that gets the kids started so they can see what the video game is like. And Game Builder is where you want to go and where you want your students to go when they first log into the app. So once you click your Game Builder, you're going to get to this screen, and it's going to ask you whether you want to build a new room or new game, sorry, or edit a saved game. Well, I've already started a game, so for me, I clicked on Edit a Saved Game. For anyone that's new, you just click on Build a New Game, and it's going to take you to a screen that looks like this. And basically, it almost looks like a replica of your black game board. If you have never built a video game before, video games are pretty much made up of rooms, and we call each of these little squares a room. This is a 13 by 13, so you have 169 different rooms that you can choose to build your game from. And basically, this just determines how long your game is going to be. It determines if you can build up, or if you want them to have to go down to other rooms. So you have 169 squares available in one of these games. And that's just for my game that I've created. And you can have multiple games created. I've only used 10 of the rooms so far, but I will say I have all of 169 rooms unlocked because I do actually have the Bloxels kit, and I did activate all of that. If you are only using the app only, then you will not get all 169 rooms. You get, I think, a whole row, so maybe 13. So it's anywhere between 10 to 15 rooms if it's not unlocked yet. So for me, once I clicked on my game, it brings this up, shows me all of the rooms that I have available. And once I press this little button right here, the left-hand button, I just wanted you to see that it has my user account right here. And then this little GPS symbol, which is going to be there throughout the whole game, it just helps you navigate which room you're actually going to be in. At the start of the game, they always start you in the middle. You do not have to start your game in the middle room. You can click on any of these rooms, like I click down here, and I have a little piece down here. Now, there's no way for my character to get down here unless I build other rooms to get to the ones I've already opened. I just wanted to show you that one. So next, I have clicked on one of my rooms and it took me to this screen right here. And on your first room, if you haven't built anything, all you're going to see is a black game board. And so at this point, this is where you would want your students to look at what each color-coded block stands for. And this is where they start trying to figure out, how do I want to design my room? What do I want my game to look like? So when I started building, I said, okay, if my character is here, I know the green blocks are for terrain. So I wanted my character to have to jump, and I made a really tall jump that they would have to do. And I put a power up. The pink is for power ups at the top. I put a big space between the power ups and made some hazard, which is a lava, in the middle. And once again, this is just where the creativity begins. If they don't do something right, they can always go back and change it. Nothing is set in stone. So you can change and keep changing things as much as you want to. And I encourage my kids to do that all the time. I tell them to build it a little bit. They press the play button down here so they can see what it's like to play. Initially, I had my kids just build it. It had a little skeleton guy. This is a little ghost my son built, but there's a little skeleton guy if you haven't built a character yet. And so you can play and jump around. You have your A to shoot, B to jump, your left and right buttons, and that's all you need to play this game. So from here, they jumped on here, they jumped on here, they go up here, they come to the top, and there's my little lava. We'll talk about why these are just plain green, because I've already decorated this part of my room, and I'll show you what it looks like with an undecorated room later on. But I also had some terrain up here. I had some water with the blue blocks. I had some coins hanging out at the top, plus a bad guy with the purple enemy blocks hanging out at the top too. But basically, your kids will build on the black game board. If they have the black board, they can build it without having to be in the app, and they just open up the app when they're ready to take the screenshot of it. If they do not have the blackboard, then they're going to be using these blocks right here. So they click on a color and they can just go through and tap on the screen where they want the colors to go. Now, most adults actually prefer it this way, but for kids, they're actually more tactile and they like to put the individual pieces on the black game board. And the black game board is bigger than your standard iPad. So it's a pretty large board, and the kids actually love building on it to show you what they've made so far, and they can run along it with their finger without having to worry about changing the colors on accident. So I would encourage you to get that game board. So once they've built a room, they can see what it's like by pressing that play button. And then they can just progress through the game. So my character jumped up here, and this is what it looked like at the top. Had a coin hanging out. Here's the water. When you're ready to take a picture of your game board, you just click this little camera button there, and you hold it over until it lines up with the board. It has all of the parameters on there, and you just click. And if you need to adjust the lighting, it has little light bulbs so you can make the light brighter, you can make the light darker, so that your Bloxel pieces actually match. Okay, so next I just want to talk a little bit about character creation, because this is probably one of the biggest things that the kids love to do besides creating the game. I let my kids on the first day just practice building rooms, because they really just needed to get in a habit of learning how to build room and what the colors represent. Then the next day, we devoted our full time on just learning how to create characters. So to get to the characters, you push the little robot at the top, takes you to this little pink screen. These two characters, the cat and the little boy, they were already loaded on here, but my students and I, we went through and created a little girl. My son created this little ghost, and he also created Luigi because that's one of his favorite characters. And I made a little turtle. I just testing it out, so I made a turtle. I love the character creation because it also has a little bit of stop motion action to it. If you look at your 3 buttons over here, you have idle, walk, and jump. And your character can appear to be moving while doing these 3 actions. So over here, my character isn't doing anything. I just made the standard, you know, she'll walk and she'll look like this when she's walking. So it'll look like she's walking to the side. But my Luigi character, I have his a little bit different. When he is in idle, I have 2 things happening. One, his hat faces forward, and then on the next shot, his hat is turned backwards. And I also have it so that it looks like he's blinking as well. So what I did was in the first shot, I took a picture and he had his little eye. And then I took another picture of him and I took the eye away and I turned his hat going backwards. And it's really easy to do that down here at the bottom. You can adjust how fast it goes over here. And it's as simple as pressing this, building the character on the game board, pushing the camera button to capture it into the app. I pressed copy. I pressed this button over here to get me another screen of him. And then I just changed a few things about him using this over here. Now, people always ask, how did you get these peach color? And how did I get different shades of colors? And I just click this little arrow over here where all the Bloxels are. And it gives me this little rainbow of colors. So you can choose between a whole lot of colors within the character creation mode. But yes, your character can blink while walking, and idle, they could be doing something else. When they jump, you could have it that their shirt changes colors. One of my students actually, while jumping, had the character disappeared and all you could see were sparkles whenever it was jumping because he made a ghost character. So that was kind of fun to see them do that. And trust me, the kids catch on to this very, very, very quickly. I spent a lot of time at home just practicing with it with my son, but when I brought it to school, you know, they took off a lot faster than I did. Another activity that's available within the app is choosing to build different backgrounds. Your background button is at the top. It has the little canvas art picture at the top. It's for backgrounds. Background is very simple to do. I did watch a couple of tutorial videos on how to build backgrounds from Bloxels, the company, and their tutorial videos are very great. They go through step by step exactly what to do. And my students were able to watch it time and time again whenever they needed to practice building. The sky landscape already comes within the app. I did a tutorial to learn how to build a cityscape as the background. I changed the colors as well. And then the background that I showed you earlier with all the little torches in the background, this is one that I purchased from the Infinity Wall. Building backgrounds can be tricky, but it's very simple. It's just using, going to your board, and then from the board, you build the background that you want. It does have to be in pieces if you want it to look really big and tall like this. All I did was build this little block, and then I just stacked the blocks on top of each other by pressing the copy paste, and I just ran it up so that it looks like a tower. And it does require some thinking, and this is one of the things I really loved about Bloxels, because when my students are trying to create a picture in their mind, I have to tell them you got to think small so that, and replicate the pieces so that you eventually have a nice big background all together. And some of their creations have been pretty nifty too. So here goes that torch background that I got from the infinity wall. I thought it was kind of cool. I made a little dungeon background. You can change the backgrounds within the game. A different room can have a different background. I chose the same one. So let's get into designing the game. This is another part that my kids enjoyed. This is on a separate day because it's a big overload if you have them doing everything all in one day. So designing the game, you have some tabs at the bottom. You have layout, which is when you're actually in building mode. You have configure, and then you have decorate. When you are in configure mode, this allows you to change your characters, change your music, you can change out the enemies, and this is where you can put in your storyline text blocks. So on this one, I clicked on configure. I went over to the little music button. And from the music button, you can change the game music. You can preview to see if that's what you want. If you've ever played any kind of video game on Xbox, PS4, Nintendo, sometimes when you go down a tunnel, you know, the music changes, or if it's a different daytime scene, the music changes. So this is why they have that feature on there, so you get a choice of music. Next to the little music notes, you have a little picture of one of your characters. You click on that, and that way you can change your character throughout through the game. Because sometimes you wanted to play as a ghost, but maybe I wanted to play as the little girl, or maybe play as Luigi, or as the cat, or the turtle. So that's what this screen is showing, is that I clicked on the character button, and then these are the choices that I have to choose from. In my classroom, I do have my carts numbered. So whatever their classroom number is, that's the iPad that they choose. That way, all of their characters stay within that Bloxels app, and they're not mixing up their characters with another student's iPad. So this is kind of what it looks like for configure mode. The fun part is the decorate tab. In decorate tab, you get to decorate what you want your Bloxels to look like. When you have created a room and you are trying to play it, it's going to look like this. It's just all pixelated, and you're going to see it look like this. Then you go click on your decorate tab, and that's when it's going to bring up all of your boards that you've ever created, and you get to replace these yellow blocks into actual terrain and things like that. So I changed out my green blocks, and see I put dirt, and the dirt with grass, and that's staple. It already comes with some of these features, and then you can create more as you get comfortable within the game. It already comes with your lava for your orange hazard blocks. It already comes with your grass and your dirt blocks. It already comes with water for that. It comes with the purple enemies, already has the bat and the little goblin for your enemy blocks. So you see my two purple up here. I switched them out for bats. My white block is a text block, and basically this is a checkpoint. So when my character makes it here, it's a checkpoint, and it'll actually say checkpoint, and this is where they will start if they get out. I put some water here for the little blue represented water, so I have a little water action happening. And then, of course, I forgot to do these two, so I need to do that. You can also change the foreground and background within the Decorate tab. You can choose what background you would like. And if you want to add little flowers and things like that, you can, the more advanced you are, you can add little things to make your game more realistic. Oh, I added these coins as well at the top. Okay, so those were just kind of the basics to Bloxels. If you are needing more information or help, there are tutorials available on their website. It's home.bloxelbuilder.com. You can also go to support.bloxelsbuilder.com. And I just did a screenshot for you to show you. There's frequently viewed articles. It will tell you how to sync it. Why are things locked in the app? So why do I need my gems? And there are tons of YouTube videos that will show you how to do each individual activity that I just showed you today. I found all of the videos helpful. In fact, when I was showing my kids how to do this, the first few days we would watch the video twice, and then I would have them go through and I would pause the video and say, okay, you do that step. And we created it step by step, exactly how the video was showing them to do it. My students found it very helpful to have that YouTube video available. And then from there, if they needed a refresher, they could go and watch it at any time. I've had several kids that asked for Bloxels for Christmas, but because you can just download the Bloxels app for free, a lot of students have just put it on their phone, and it's something that they've been working with on their own phones when they're at home, building their own video games that way as well. It's very creative. I also wanted to talk about some suggestions for using it for content area. I've seen some teachers that had their students create a short story, and I do mean short story, like Three Little Pigs or like Little Red Riding Hood type thing. So you just basically get a basic character, setting, plot, resolution, and they built their video game around it. They had the character, whatever their main character was going to be. They had that on there. They built the setting for the background of what they wanted their background to look like. And they put in all of those little story blocks so that when the character came across each checkpoint, instead of the, and I'll go back to show you. When the character came across the story block, one that looks like this, the story would pop up. And so the student can read what's happening in the story, and then maybe it would tell them to, hey, maybe you should jump up and try to see what's up there. And then the student would have another story block at the top. And then they're like, okay, you're close. Next, the big bad wolf, did this or did that. So basically they built their story within the video game, and they had the story blocks for every time the character would pass it, it would give them a piece of the story. So, and once again, this was a short, simple story, and you would just tell your kids how many rooms it has to be, and maybe they put 2 to 3 sentences on a story block, and so their story is progressing, and it's a great way to do beginning, middle, end activities with them if you need to relate it to reading content. So I thought that was actually a pretty good idea. So at this time, if I'll be quiet and let you guys post any questions or comments that you may have. Okay, since we didn't have any questions at this time, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Your CPE link will be posted into the comment section, so be sure that you click on that at the end of this. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.